National curriculum tests, commonly known as SATs, are designed for Key Stage 1 and 2 children to assess their knowledge of the national curriculum. The results help parents and teachers monitor children's progress in relation to national expectations and can help identify areas where they may require additional support with English and mathematics. Dyslexic learners may qualify for additional help with their SATs if it can be shown that this would be part of their normal way of working in the classroom.
Schools play a big responsibility in ensuring that pupils have the support that they need and that it's tailored to their individual requirements as part of their normal teaching and learning. And similarly, teachers and head teachers have a responsibility of ensuring that they consider which pupils might need access arrangements during the tests themselves, and that's to ensure that pupils who potentially would have been disadvantaged without them can still perform to the best of their ability in the tests.
There's a whole range of access arrangements that schools must consider before entering their pupils for the national curriculum tests. And those arrangements could include the pupil being allowed additional time in the tests. They may be provided with a reader or a scribe. Some pupils need a translation made. Other pupils prefer to work independently, but the writing's not too clear, so a transcript would be made of their answers afterwards. Pupils could also be given rest breaks if they easily become fatigued, and some pupils really benefit from the use of prompts or prompters.
And schools are advised to explore all available options for their pupils. Combinations of access arrangements can be admitted for SATs if that has become a normal way of working in the classroom.
If it's normal classroom practice, pupils can use a range of assistive technology to support them during the tests, provided that the technology is not giving them an advantage. So that could include word processors to record a pupil's answers, reading pens to assist the pupil with reading in the grammar, punctuation and spelling test and the mathematics test specifically, or other technical or electronic aids that they're familiar with working with in the classroom. So if a pupil, for example, is a slow writer but also has slow processing speed, they could be provided with a scribe or a word processor to compensate for their slow writing. But they could also potentially be awarded additional time to compensate for their slow processing speed. And so they would use multiple arrangements for the same pupil to enable that pupil to access the tests. There are some restrictions though in the tests, so schools do need to be careful that the technology is not going to give that particular pupil an advantage in any way. So a common example to be aware of is that any technology that might provide reading assistance in the English reading test would not be allowed. So we're aware that schools often use that type of support in the classroom as part of teaching and learning, but as the reading test is a test of the pupil's reading as well as comprehension skills, then they wouldn't be able to use that type of functionality in the test. But they could still use a word processor, for example, to record their answers, provided that any functionality is turned off that's going to help them in any way.
If a pupil has a specific arrangement that isn't covered in the access arrangement guidance, the school should talk to the Standards and Testing Agency, who will consider the pupil's needs and decide whether a specific arrangement can be provided for that child.
If a school reads the array of guidance that's out there about the use of access arrangements and how to administer a test, and they feel that nothing that the reading is suiting the needs of their particular pupil, I would encourage them to contact us. There's a school portal called NCA Tools that school can communicate with us by. It's a secure site. So any information they provide about a pupil is secure and it's not shared with anybody. And I would encourage them to tell us what they think their pupil needs, and we would see what we could do to work with them with the access arrangements that's available, because it could be a case that a pupil was provided with a number of arrangements, and if that's normal classroom practice, that would be allowed in the tests.
What is the word cloud?
Some access arrangements, schools need to make an application to the Standards and Testing Agency beforehand. Other arrangements the schools just need to inform us about, and there's some arrangements that a school can just put into place and they don't need to tell us or make any kind of application. What they do need to have though is some kind of school-based evidence that that arrangement is normal for that pupil. But we're not looking for any specific reports, and we don't need anything to be provided. What we're looking for is just notes in the pupil's workbook or in their education plans that that's a normal arrangement for that child to be supported that way in the classroom.
We publish a range of guidance in hopefully lots of time for schools to prepare for the tests. So we publish access arrangements guidance that specifically focuses on the individual arrangements available and the range of things. And we also include in there what schools need to do if they want to use an arrangement in the test. Some of them they can just use and they don't need to tell anybody, provided it's normal classroom practice. But there are others that schools need to notify us about or request our permission in advance before using.
So to recap the main points of access arrangements to help with SATs. Parents and teachers should liaise with their school SENCO to discover what access arrangements are available and what's permitted for SATs. Schools should keep records of what support is used in the classroom. The SENCO should check which arrangements need to be applied for in advance. The Standards and Testing Agency publishes guidance on access arrangements at www.gov.uk/STA.